Inside the Huddle. I'm your host, Tom Brown, and this is episode 47 on the season. Hard to believe. And this is powered by Romo Athletics and brought to you by the Raw Athletic Booster Club. And today we got Coach Josh Vinyard, who's not talking basketball today. We are talking tennis.
Talking tennis today, that's right.
Yeah, welcome, Coach. So how many years have you been coaching tennis here for the Bulldogs?
Completed 3 years, so this is the start of number 4.
Wow, 4 years. Yeah, I was trying to look at it last night. I was trying to remember when you started, but man, there's been a lot of success. I mean, we have had a really great last few years, competing in districts, advancing kids on. And that's kind of what you want, right? You have these seniors that always seem to be leading your team, and then they transition on to college, and you're thinking, okay, now what? Well, the next seniors pop up. So last year you had Luke Foster was one of your seniors, and
yeah, we had Luke Foster and William Huber and Evan Wong. And Evan didn't get to play with us last year, but he was there the whole way, and we had some great leadership there. But we had other guys too that had never even played tennis last year that really helped. Cal Glisman and Ali Amusafer, he stepped up, and it was the first year of tennis for those guys, so they didn't participate on the varsity side of it, but they were really great guys to have around, and so they played a part in our leadership too, and they did a great job for us. And so, yeah, we've been really blessed over the last few years to have good senior leaders. And probably started my first year, we had Owen Akins and Evan Barth, who were seniors, and me coming in, knew those guys really, they were a blessing to me and helping me get acclimated to things. And so it's just rolled downhill since then. And we talk a lot about that leadership piece and who's up next. And this year with having the guys we have with Cam Cooper and Owen Kuchar, Reed Cummings, those three guys really are guys that are lead by example, and they're pretty vocal guys too right now for us, and show all the younger guys how we do things, and that really helps.
So definitely. You think about that as you, like I said, you came in and tennis wasn't your background. You're varsity coach, and that's what basketball coach that you've always done. But again, you're a coach,
right?
And so you jumped in, you started doing the training, you started research and calling other coaches, sharing knowledge, and then transferring that in. Like you said, you had you had your Akins and Barth were there to kind of help out as well on what you expect from a program. And then you transition out. So now Luke Foster was your number one last year, and then he's on to Evangel playing basketball. So this year your number one is Cam Cooper.
Yeah. And so Cam is, he started off as a freshman and never picked up a racket. But through freshman basketball season, we were able to form a pretty good relationship, and I think that helped. And so he decided to come out and be a part of it, and just fell in love with it. And he was kind of one of those 10, 11, 12 guys as a freshman, but then just played all the time and loved it. And so same way with Owen. Owen, I think, was probably in our 20 ranks as a freshman. But those guys with Luke and Will and all those guys, they just played an incredible amount. They love to get up there and play, and a testament to their work ethic. But they just played a whole lot. And so Cam's earned everything he's got, and just with just sheer hard work. And we talk a lot in our program about there's sometimes a better way to do things, but there's not in tennis sometimes a wrong way.
Right.
There's better ways to do it, and we work through those things. But sometimes it's just about how bad you want to work at it and get better at it. So
and get those repetitions, much like with basketball. Sean Marion can actually lead the NBA in 3-pointers with a really bad shot as he puts the reps in. So so we talked about Cam, and you got Owen. Then who are the other returners from last season?
Keaton Renaud, he was a freshman for us last year. He played 6 singles as a freshman, which is hard to do when you're pretty good. So he had a really good freshman year, and played doubles for us at doubles 3. And so he's our 2 right now. So Cam is 1, and Keaton's 2, and Owen's 3. And those 3 guys are fairly close, so that could change over the course of our season. But Keaton's 3, Elson Wong is our 4 right now, and so he's a pretty experienced player. Another player who played as a freshman for us, and I think he was 12-6 as a freshman, similar to what Keaton was last year. And so he's really, as a 4, he's a really skilled 4. And so we're working on cleaning some things up for him, but there'll be a few teams that will challenge him at 4 rank, but not a ton, because his skill set's really good. And then we have Reed Cummings at our 5, and then we have Joey Foster at 6.
Then so in Evan or Ellis is Elson.
Elson.
Elson is,
Yep.
what year is he?
He's a junior.
Junior, that's what I
Yeah.
say.
So
Junior.
Cam and Owen and Reed are seniors, so we have 3 seniors in that top 6. But then we have our underclassmen in 3 of those spots. And then, we have Cam Brown, who's really came on really strong for us. Had a good freshman year, but he's kind of fallen into the same mold for us as what Owen and Cam. And so he and Paxton Ledbetter both made really big jumps. In fact, Cam Cooper was sick when we went to West Plains. And so we bumped everybody up a rank, which meant Cam got to play 6 singles and went out and won like 8-1. And then that put Pax and Cam playing 3 doubles together as sophomores. And we didn't miss a beat with it. Those guys have really came on. So we're really excited the fact that we got a couple sophomores there at the bottom who are going to push the guys in front of them. So.
Well, that's great. So that kind of rounds out your whole squad then of your varsity squad and kind of the in-betweeners. Now, real quick, so do you do like wrestling? There'll be like wrestle-offs to get like at weight things. Do you kind of have the same thing with tennis on your rankings, or do you have they can challenge each other or?
Yeah, and so in tennis you have to do some form of a rank. They wanted you to do some sort of a ranked tournament to where it's fair. So we do a ranked tournament. So usually what I do is, I've done it different ways in the past, but as I've learned different things from other people, we basically take our top 8 guys that were back from the year before and we put them in an 8-person bracket and we just play it out both ways. And so we just play it out until we get 1 through 8, and then we do the next thing 9 through 16, and then we do it all the way down. And this kind of gives us an idea where to start. And then throughout the season, we'll have challenge days where we might do 2 days in a row of challenge matches where like we'll do odd challenges. So odd numbers get the challenge up, and the next day evens get the challenge up. So you could move up 2 ranked spots in 2 days.
Wow.
If you win both your matches. So that's kind of how it works throughout the season. Now, sometimes with your schedule being the way it is, and ours is, excuse me, ours in April, I think we have 3, maybe 4 days in the entire month of April where we don't have a match. So we'll do that as much as we can to where guys can move up a rank. But in some way, it's fairly closely decided after that first rank.
Well, and what's great about that too is it's putting competition in your practices by having those challenges where they always have to be sharp. They have to understand why they're doing it. And I was talking about this with somebody who's thinking with wrestling. It's not just about the individual, even though you get individual points for individual matches,
right.
But then there's the team match. And so right now you guys are 2-0 on the season.
Yep.
And very convincing, 7-2, I think.
7-2 on both of them.
Both of those, again, very convincing wins. And that was Waynesville and West Plains.
Yeah.
And then your match against Osage last night was canceled. We were postponed until Wednesday.
To Wednesday, so we'll play that one tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so tonight you got Cap Cities, 4 o'clock, hopefully. Cross our fingers. That's a big storms come in. There's some trees down on the way in, I noticed.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So Cap Cities is a good team though.
Yeah, they've got all 6 of their top 6 guys back from last year. So they've got all their singles players and their doubles players. So that's a district opponent for us too. So that'll be a big one for us. Our guys are, we were ready. I think when we hit yesterday, the guys are ready for the challenge, and so we're excited to. They get to come here hopefully, and we'll be ready. But they return a player. I think he took 9th in the state last year in singles as their number 1, and but then there's the pretty experience. They got a lefty at number 2, and those 2 guys together, righty lefty, in the doubles is pretty tough. And so, but we're excited about the challenge. That'll kind of give us our first real measuring stick of where we're at and where we need to go as we practice and go through the rest of our season.
So talk about just real quick the last couple matches. Again, we talked about at the Waynesville match. We can watch that.
Yep.
The challenge of going from moving up to that number 1 spot. So for Cam Cooper being at the number 1, now he has everybody's best player. Where before he could come in there at the 2 spot or 3 spot and kind of work his way in. And now it's a whole different thing. Now he has to be that anchor. But again, he could go winless throughout this season. And everybody else takes care of their business. We're still good, and he occupies that spot, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of how again come back to that team thing. So, in looking at the Waynes, like you said, West Plains Cam was sick, but any surprises that came out of the Waynesville and West Plains matches?
I thought Cam played really well. But when you played one, when Evan Wong 3 years ago was a sophomore and he was our 1, I think he was right at 500 or maybe a win above 500 in 1 singles. And then when Luke took that spot, then he was very similar, like about 500. And both those guys are really good players. But at 1, you're going to win about half of those and you'll lose the other half, even if you play really well.
Right.
And so But yeah, so Cam kind of anchors us there. But, and you know, our kind of focus really has always been, we do what we do at those and we win what we can at those, but then we try to be really strong at like 3, 4, 5, 6. And high school tennis, that's where you win your matches as at the back of that lineup. And then really one doubles is very similar to one singles. You're gonna split most of those matches. Now we've been really good at doubles, and we've kind of not followed that trend the last few years. We've been really good at doubles. We just haven't lost very many doubles matches over the last 3 years. But then you really want to be good at 2 doubles and 3 doubles. And I feel like maybe this year, between 2 doubles and 3 doubles, we're probably stronger there even than what we've been, you know, sometimes in the past at 3 doubles. So I feel like with we have Elson Wong there, who's our 4, and then we also have Cam Brown there, who's our 7. But those 2 guys together have really meshed well together, and they complement each other really well. So, like as we play throughout the season, as long as we can be pretty consistent at 4, 5, 6, and 2 and 3 doubles, we'll have a pretty good shot in most matches.
Well, again, looking past seasons, right? 20 wins, 17 wins, 18 wins. I mean, you guys have only a few losses. I mean, always single digit losses. And that proves out that it's the rest of the team that you really need to bring up, and that's good to have.
Yeah, you kind of have your, you know, you're kind of in your own island when you're in your singles, and even with your doubles partner, you're kind of together. But then, you know, we've kind of, I think in our program, we've kind of taken the individual focus away from it. Like it's all about what we do as a group. And you know, we go to a couple flighted tournaments where you put your 1 singles against all the other 1 singles and 2 singles against all the other 2 singles, and you play a bracket. But pretty much our emphasis in our program is what can we get done together, and our guys have really bought into that. And so I think if you ask our guys a view of what our program is, they're gonna say it's the team part of it. We don't even really look at it with that lens at all.
Love it. I actually love it. That was, you know, Ethan had done track in junior high for the first time, and it was same concept. Everybody's cheering on and going to the next event. And at those meets, you're seeing the people gather around. And they're not just staying at one spot with their buddy. They're moving up and down, and they're going to the JV guys and making sure they're down there cheering them on, and then coming back and watching the game. So yeah, having that teamwork, having that camaraderie, I think it strengthens it up. They play outside of practice, right? That's the other part, right? Yeah, a lot of ball.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's where those players could be made.
Yeah, and our seniors do a really good job. You know, one of the things over the last 3 years, we've grown our numbers. Obviously, we started off, and I think my first year we had like 18 kids participating, and I think this year we're at 30.
Wow.
And we've kept all those guys, and we've had to split practices to where we have 2 practices every night so we can accommodate with our court space. But our upperclassmen are really good with our younger kids and helping them and teaching them and hitting with them and doing those type of things. And we've gone away from the idea of junior varsity. We have our top guys who play varsity, but then the rest of our guys, we don't even call them JV anymore. We call them futures. Yeah. So they're our future guys. Yeah. And so we call them futures. And then JV, whether that's a kind of a term that people just kind of grown not to like. Kids don't want to be known as like a JV player. So we've kind of gotten rid of that terminology in our program. So those guys are our futures.
I like it.
And so we say, hey, futures, you're going to partner up with one of our upperclassmen today. And so when we're free hitting and doing things like that, our future guys are hitting with our guys that are at the top of the rank order. And so I think those guys have done a great job in matches and tournaments of going and supporting the younger guys and encouraging them and giving them tips and things like that. So we've built a pretty good culture where our guys are doing that for each other.
That's what it is. That's what culture winning.
Culture wins all the time.
Love that. All right. Well, Coach, best of luck tonight. Hopefully we'll get that match in. And 4 p.m. at the tennis courts at Bear Lawn. So come on out if you got nothing else going on. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a great environment. You got several matches going on. A lot of kids getting after it. It's a good time. So 4 o'clock, Bear Lawn. Come on out. And anything else we need to add, Coach?
Nope. Just if you haven't ever watched a tennis match, I think you will be impressed with our kids. If you come out to Bear One and watch our kids play and how they hold themselves and how they work together, I think you'd be impressed and maybe try something different.
Yeah. So. Great. All right. So for Coach Josh Vinyard, I'm Tom Brown, and we'll see you on the next episode of Inside the Huddle. Thanks, everyone.